Okay, so this is my part 3 of my series on meditation. Today's video, I will actually show you the practice, what you should be implementing and practicing when you sit down and close your eyes and go within yourself. Just a few points that I want to make before we get to the practice, okay? So firstly, it doesn't matter if you're a beginner, it doesn't matter if you're an expert. Approach this video free of your thoughts about meditation, your ideas about meditation, what you perhaps have gathered or accumulated as judgments, past experiences, definitions about meditation. It doesn't matter if you've tried it before and it hasn't worked for you. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it and you have some sort of confidence about it. Just try to approach this with a fresh mind, or no mind, no thoughts about it, not taking seriously any judgment you have on it. And that way, this video will fulfill its purpose. It will guide you in whichever way you need, in whichever extent right now. Now, especially if you feel like meditation doesn't work for me, this video is for you, because there's no such thing as meditation doesn't work for me. So if you have tried meditation in the past and it hasn't worked, number one, it's due to a lack of consistency. And number two, it may be due to a lack of clarity on how to practice. There are many things that we call meditation. However, they might be sort of imaginary processes or visualization techniques, but that's not really what we're talking about today and what what meditation really entails. Today, I will teach you how to simply distill into the silence of your being. In the beginning, it will be difficult. However, over time, if you remain consistent with it, it will happen for you. There's no matter of if it works for you or not. It works. With meditation, it all comes down to consistency and how bad you really want it. When you're reading these teachings, when you're hearing them in these videos, the mind seems to want it really bad, right? The mind wants to experience these teachings. It wants to make these spiritual things that it hears about. It wants to experience those as your direct experience. Now, yet at the same time, it continues to run away from silence, which is the sort of ripening factor, which is the requirement, a prerequisite for these sorts of realizations and understandings. So now, almost like put your money where your mouth is. Bring the practice into your desire of wanting this. Okay? So all you need to do is you need to make sure you're sitting down every single day, twice per day, for 15 to 20 minutes each. Begin with 15 if you have to. We can increase it over time to 30. You don't need to be sitting down for hours and hours. That's not what meditation is about. But at least, especially in the beginning, 15 minutes a day, twice per day. Once in the morning. It doesn't have to be right when you wake up, but in the morning before you begin your day-to-day hectic routine. And then second can be either in the afternoon or it can be later on in the day, in the evening. I really like to sit down during sunset time. You'll see that time is almost like an unwinding and it has sort of a peaceful energy, which it helps at that time. It's on you where you want to allocate these 2 segments of your day, which are just for you, away from all distractions, away from your entire family, where you're ready to drop the world, drop who you are as a person, drop all your ideas, drop your past, drop your story, drop your expectation, drop your future, and just be. All right? Now, for some of you, you may feel like it is unbearable to sit still. And it certainly may be like that in the beginning. And that is part of the problem. Right now, the impulses and the compulsions of the body, they're too strong and they completely manipulate you. And right now, if there's some sort of irritation in the body, it's identified with and it seeks expression. It happens and it controls us. It pulls us into suffering. That is the problem. So the solution to that is meditation. Perhaps you've seen my last video, the second video in this 3-part series, and you've seen that through meditation, the body learns to also come into a state of absolute relaxation until it literally leaves your field of perception. So don't worry, if it's unbearable to sit still, that is part of the problem. The first thing we have to bring into our sort of conscious observation and control is the body, which right now is just moving all about controlling us. Through meditation, it becomes quiet and still. And this restlessness in the body is actually just a reflection of the restlessness in mind. So the first step, where we are no longer we're not able to sit still, through meditation, the body becomes still. And this step is quite easy, perhaps just within the first few days or weeks. Now, the next thing is, right, the mind is restless. So the mind is making you feel all agitated and restless. It's thinking about a billion things to do. It's saying, oh, did you turn the stove off, or do you have some laundry to do? Or, it's finding things to, again, bring you into activity, into just, again, restless motion, unconscious, sleepful motion and action. So right now, again, the mind is also just scattered. The attention is fully scattered. It's just going anywhere it wants right now, and there's no control over that. So see if, your mind and body are absolutely out of your control, just doing whatever they want and subject to whatever comes into experience, and it influences them, and then they react, just unconscious reaction. You see, there's no control over life. There's no question of having any sort of peace and stability. It is absolute instability, restlessness, suffering. So the first step, right, we bring the body into our calm, conscious observation. It becomes stilled. It becomes comfortable over time with it as well. It replenishes our energy. And then second, the mind also, it becomes calm, becomes still, and there's greater clarity in the mind as well. Peacefulness, happiness. And then we continue to go deeper and deeper and go beyond the level of movement. That's for later. So don't worry if the mind is restless, the body is restless. That is the problem, which is being solved through meditation. There's no such thing as, once I'm able to meditate, then I'll be able to have a calm mind and body. Actually, no. Meditation is the way. Okay? So the body will get used to it over time, and the mind will also get used to it over time. Now, let's cover the beginning meditation that I want to share with you. Now for this, please do not use a guided meditation, right? Guided meditations you can listen to and use those pointers and use them as a supplement on top of your sit-down practice when you're just being by yourself, free of words, free of any guidance or pointers. You can use them on the side, but that's not a substitute. Okay, I just want to make that clear. Like even the guidances I have on my channel, feel free to listen to them, feel free to watch them with your eyes closed. But again, that is not a substitute for your meditation that day. These 2 periods of your day, 2 segments of your day where you're just being by yourself, this is what you should practice. You can use a theta wave track that I still enjoy using. I'll link that down below. This is wordless. It is not a melody. It's just a theta wave track, and it just allows you to completely tune out the world. Okay? So you can put that on your headphones. You sit down comfortably. You can fold your legs. You can sit on the floor. You can sit on the couch. You can have your legs down. It doesn't matter. I would recommend not laying down because you will probably eventually drift off into sleep, and that's not really the point. However, sometimes if you want to do it laying down, that's fine. But if you do continue to fall asleep, no, that's not okay. Make sure you're doing it sitting up then. So again, as I said, right now, attention is so scattered. Mind is so scattered. What we are doing in meditation, we close our eyes. We have the theta waves playing, or just being absolute silent, nothing in our ears. You simply bring your attention, and do it now, right, to one point. Rather than just going wherever it wants to, in these moments, you will be the controller of your attention. So you bring your attention to, let's say, first, your breath. Again, right now, mind is probably offering all sorts of narratives about, oh, I've heard this before, I've tried this before. Just let it all be. Please be willing to experience this in a new way, in a fresh way that is not colored by your experience of the past, by your assumptions of what it is. So, you can either bring your attention directly to the breath, to the sound of it, the feel of it. That is what I call an anchor of your attention. And that is only one of them that I recommend. So the breath is one. You can also tune into the sense of your body, just the outline of your body. Become aware of your body without looking at it or without touching it. See that you are aware of the body being there. There's a general outline that you can become aware of. This sensation is very subtle in the beginning, but it grows more and more clear and vivid over time as you practice this. This could be your object of focus. This could be your anchor if you don't really like the pointer of the breath. And if you're having some trouble becoming aware of the body sense, then simply ask yourself, right? Hold your hands out in front of yourself, and with your eyes closed, ask yourself, without touching or moving my hands, how do I know that I have hands? And this question automatically brings your attention to just the feel of your hands, the outline of your hands. So notice that when your attention is on the outline of your hands, or right, any other body part, or just your entire body sense, the attention is not in thoughts. So this could be a very powerful anchor. And this was one of my favorite anchors when I just began meditating. And then the last anchor that you can choose for your meditation is just the sound of the theta wave track that I'm linking down below. So an anchor is something that you continue to bring your attention back to again and again and again. Again, right now attention is scattered, going wherever it wants, completely uncontrolled. The first point of meditation is to harness your attention, bringing it under your conscious control, putting it in one place, thereby automatically it ceases to be scattered. So what your sit-down practice should look like is you bring your attention, and this is the only objective you're sitting down with. Just, it doesn't matter if it's not working for you, it doesn't matter if this is hard or this or that. These are all just thoughts, which again, your attention is just scattered into. And right now there's just great belief in these thoughts, identification with these thoughts. This is the problem. So regardless of what arises in mind, you just acknowledge that again, okay, thinking was happening. That's okay. Don't battle against the thinking. Don't think to stop thinking. Simply bring the attention away from the thought towards your anchor, either the breath or the body sense or the sound of the music. Don't work hard to drop thinking or to try to stop thinking. You will only end up in more thinking. All you need to do is just continue to bring the attention back to your anchor. And automatically, whatever was being thought will be dropped. Until again it arises, and until again you catch yourself, you simply bring the focus of your attention back to your anchor. This may sound too simple, right? The mind wants something complex. It wants something more exciting. It wants something more stimulating to do. But again, that is part of the problem. Our unwillingness to yield to the simplicity of spiritual practice is responsible for keeping us entangled in the complexities of mind, of its cravings, of its restlessness. So if you want to begin meditation and have it deepen more and more, you need to yield to the simplicity. You need to be willing to follow very simple directions and really going in on them. And this is what it looks like. This is the first step to meditation. So for 15 to 20 minutes, every single day, twice, you're sitting down by yourself. And in those moments, your goals don't matter, your concerns don't matter, just for those moments. Pick them up later. Your family doesn't matter, you yourself as a person don't matter. Your whole life doesn't matter. Let go of, what's going to happen to old little me. In those moments, none of that matters. This is about you going deeper than just what appears. My personal life. So have that intensity. And in those moments, you're going to just continue to bring your attention again and again and again to your chosen anchor. It is this simple. But this, when done over time, consistently, compounds. And you sink deeper and deeper into awareness. Your mind becomes quieter and quieter. Your body becomes still and controlled. It begins to heal as well. Your whole life, the nature of your experience, your perception of yourself and your life, everything is beginning to shift. Everything is beginning to change. Just with this simple direction, which you must be willing to yield and accept and practice. Again, consistency cannot be less emphasized here, or more emphasized here. It is the main thing. And if you just remain consistent, have the attitude that it doesn't matter if it takes weeks, it doesn't matter if it takes months, it doesn't matter if it takes years. If you just continue to show up again and again, every single day, regardless of what you're doing and regardless of what's happening in your life, you continue to show up every day for this practice, then there is no question that this will deepen for you. Continue to listen to all the guided meditations. Continue to listen to the spiritual teachings, whatever you want. But if you do not meditate right now, this has to be the practice that gets you started. This will plunge you into the silence of your nature. This will plunge you into deeper insight and understanding. This will make you ready for the understanding of self-inquiry and the deeper spiritual teachings. This is the prerequisite to becoming stabilized in self-knowledge. So this must be your practice every single day. Okay? Now, as this practice develops, and be patient with this, please. It's for yourself, nobody else, just for you. As this practice develops, now I want to speak to either you in the future who's going to revisit this video after your meditation has sort of developed and deepened, or now if anybody who has sort of been practicing meditation and wants to take it deeper. If you've been practicing object-focused meditation where you either focus on a mantra or again the breath or whatever, and you want to take it to the next level. So now we're going to talk about that practice, which is self-inquiry. Self-inquiry is not an intellectual process. It is not a dissecting mental thought process. It is an abiding in and as awareness. It is a dissolving of the subject-object focused relationship into pure knowing, pure being. It is a retaining the mind in its source, the heart of knowing. What that looks like is, let's say in the first meditation that I just described, when you are continuing to bring the attention on something. See that there's the object of attention, let's say the breath or the body sense. This is something that the attention is on. You are aware of. In self-inquiry, we are not focusing on an object, but instead acknowledging ourselves as the subject, being that which is aware, rather than being concerned with the object we are focused on and keeping the attention there. You become aware that you are aware. And there are many questions and pointers in self-inquiry that you can use to bring about the self-awareness, such as, who am I? Or what is aware of my experience? I'm trying to keep this video fairly overview, a bigger picture. However, I have many videos on self-inquiry which will help you with this. And I also have a free class that teaches you exactly how to do this. So I'm going to keep it general and vague, but make sure to use those resources in the description box and on my YouTube channel. I have a whole playlist on self-inquiry. But you can use certain pointers like who am I, which again, just bring the attention back to yourself. Rather than keeping the attention on something, temporarily keeping the mind quiet, it quite literally dissolves the attention into its source. And all that remains is pure knowing. Quietude, silence. You cease to be a person. You cease to be a somebody focusing on something. And this abiding is self-inquiry. There's nothing to think about here. There's nothing to say here. There's nothing to do here. There's nothing to make happen. There's nothing to realize. This is the deepening element. So now, again, if you are, again, the beginner watching this also, you're watching this far, don't just try to skip to this. You can experience this and you can practice this as well. But again, this is not a substitute for the practice that I just labeled for you. If you're an absolute beginner, if you're just starting out, if you feel like, oh, I'm like all jittery, my mind is all over the place, my body's all over the place, there's no excuse or substitute for that practice that I just labeled out for you. But if you have been practicing meditation for a while and you wish to deepen it, then practice what I just mentioned. Watch the other self-inquiry videos on my channel. And also watch my free self-inquiry workshop that I have down below. Again, I cannot emphasize more the importance of this sit-down practice. And that's why I wanted to make this 3-part series, because I keep speaking to more and more people who want to go deeper into this, who want that understanding, yet they don't have any sit-down practice. And this is the greatest obstacle. It's the simplest thing you can implement, yet it is the greatest obstacle that is holding you back. So it's the easiest solution. So I apologize for being repetitive, perhaps, throughout this 3-part series. Please watch the entire series yet if you haven't. I'll link it down below as well. And it'll also be on the front page of my channel. But please, if this means a lot to you, if this is something that you truly value and want to go deep into, implement this, because it is from here your entire external practice will flow to. Only if you have this inner practice will you have the capacity to be aware throughout the day. Will you have the capacity to not get entangled in just the day-to-day trivial stuff. Only then will you unravel from personhood into being who you are. Now, if this is something that you want my help with, if you want me to help you quickly deepen this practice, dissolve mind identification, and become free from suffering your thoughts and emotions, and become more and more established in your true nature as being, knowing, awareness, then please learn more about my School of Awakening. I would love to help you. I'm helping people with this every single day, and it's a beautiful shift to see, and I would love to help you with it as well. If you are dedicated, if you are committed, then the School of Awakening is the best place for you. So learn the details down below and book a call with me. That's all for this video. That's all for this series. I hope it helped you, and I hope that this 3-part series will be the beginning of something new for you. You may not realize it today or tomorrow or a week from now, but a few months later, maybe a few years later, you will look back at this perhaps. And if this is what started your meditation journey, then you'll be very, very grateful and thankful that this teaching came into your life. And I'm so blessed and honored to share that with you, because I know the absolute transformation that took place in my life because of it. And I know the absolute transformation that happens in the lives of everybody that I work with. So thank you again. See you next time.